Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to Evolution of Pro Wrestling. I'm Lewis, and this is Jay, my co-host as always. We have an excellent topic for you today. We originally had it as the big pops and boos, but we wanted to stir things up today.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to be bringing onto the show shortly a gentleman that has an awesome podcast in Florida, Mr. Jose Gonzalez from Ricans of Wrestling. Jose G, as we should say. So we're going to invite him into the mix, and he will be a guest on our show today. Okay, we're just going to need him get his camera up, and we should be good to go. Hey, Michael, what's going on, man? How's everything? And we're gonna get Jose Gonzalez in here. We got to invite him in. Okay, let's take a look here. See if we can get him on. Alright, so Jose Gonzalez has just been invited. This man does great work around Central Florida. So we're eager to work with him. Jay.
Yes.
Today's topic is a unique topic.
Very unique.
And many people talk about it, many people say about it, but what is it exactly they talk about? You hear about fantasy football. You hear about fantasy baseball. Oh, wait a minute. We got an invite here. Here we go. And we're adding Jose. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on? Is there something going on with him? Alright, I'm sorry, Jose, for some reason it's not coming on. Their friends will not be able to watch this live unless you're... Yes, I did select Jose. What's going on? Yeah, I invited him. What's going on? Okay, I'm sorry about this, guys. We're trying to bring on a guest here. I'm not sure what's going on. Sorry about this, guys. We just got the feedback. Yeah, I see you, Jose. We're trying to get you on the camera. For some reason, it's not going through. It doesn't show your camera. Okay. In the meantime, while we're trying to get Jose Gonzalez in here, tell them what our topic is today, Jaden. We had fantasy football, fantasy baseball. What else was out there in sports?
You know, the draft itself.
Hey, RWT Kingpin is here. The Kingpin is here. I'm sorry, continue.
There's fantasy basketball, but what about fantasy warfare?
Fantasy
warfare.
Fantasy warfare.
What about fantasy warfare? Nobody talks about fantasy warfare. You know, fantasy warfare is a really old thing. So, you know, I've probably seen or I've probably heard of fantasy warfare before, but Dad, since you know more about fantasy warfare, how about you tell these newcomers here what fantasy warfare is about?
Fantasy warfare is pretty much we're picking 15 of the top superstars from the 2000s to the present, and superstars from the 80s to the 90s.
Yes.
So, fantasy warfare, you can get anybody out of the hat. You can get pretty much Hulk Hogan and John Cena, or Andre the Giant and the Big Show.
Yeah.
So we have our little slips here.
Hey, Grandma. Grandma's here.
Say, hey, Womanizer is here. Oh, Lord. Oh, Kingpin, come on, man. Hogan sucks. Hogan does not suck. Okay, come on. You gotta chill out with that, man.
Finally, somebody agrees with me.
What?
What happened?
What you said?
What?
You better chill out, boy. Don't start so early in the morning. Early in the morning, check me out. Don't start so much into the show.
Hey.
Oh, man. But that's what our topic is today.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is that when we pick a name out of the hat, we are going to discuss that fantasy warfare match to see how it's gonna go.
Yes.
You know, so we might have had Jose Gonzalez coming in now. Let's see what's up. Let's see if we can get him in. We'll love to. Oh, he's connected. Jose G is on the show.
I'm here, guys. I'm here.
What's
Sorry,
up,
I had
brother?
some.
What's up, man? A little technical difficulty.
Yeah, had some
We got
issues.
in, so we're good. Jose,
You guys
welcome
can hear
to
me
the
okay?
show. Yep, I hear
You
you
got
perfect.
awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had some
No,
issues. I was trying to get on through the iPad, but apparently it doesn't work that way.
it's all right, man. Don't worry about it. Listen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show again, man. Now we are all three here. Last time we had you on the show was actually just me and you, part of a topic. But today we were just discussing fantasy warfare. 15
All right, man.
superstars from each and every era, from 2000 to the present, from the 80s to the 90s. We're going to pick a hat. We're going to pick a name out of the hat, discuss that match, and see how it goes. I'm excited for this topic. What do you think about this, Jose?
Let's do it. I'm down for it, bro. I'm down for it.
All right.
I'm always down for fantasy booking, but in this case, it's fantasy warfare. So I'm down. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Okay, Jaden.
Yes.
Pick the first name out of your Ziploc. We got Ziplocs. We got Ziplocs. Come on, what do you got? You're going too quick. You're going too slow. You're going too slow.
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. And I have Mr. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Perfect against Bray Wyatt. What a combination.
I don't think that's probably ever been thought of in the WWE. I'm pretty sure nobody would ever think of having a Bray Wyatt against a Mr. Perfect because, two types of wrestling styles, two types of weights. Bray Wyatt is one of those heavyweights. And, Mr. Perfect wasn't really a type of heavyweight, but, he was called the most perfect person in the WWE to wrestle. So that would honestly be an interesting match.
Okay.
That would be an interesting
Now,
match.
Jose's the guest here. Jose, what do you think of this match, man? Between two different styles here, it's like one person that was the eater of worlds, then the guy was absolutely perfect. How does this match even match up? Period.
This is a very interesting matchup, man. I mean, Mr. Perfect versus Bray Wyatt. Now, are we talking, Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, Swap Bray Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, or are we talking the Fiend Bray Wyatt? Because it just depends. It just depends on the character that's facing Mr. Perfect. Now, if you're putting the Fiend Bray Wyatt against Mr. Perfect, then in my opinion, it doesn't matter how perfect you are. You're getting fear and you're getting fury from Bray Wyatt. Now, if we're talking Firefly Funhouse or maybe Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, then Mr. Perfect, has got to solidify it with perfection.
No, absolutely. Mr. Perfect was able to take on the best, man. Bray Wyatt, like you said, the Fiend. If it's the Fiend, there's nothing happening with.
He's practically invincible. Everything he gets hit by, he eats it.
No, absolutely. But that's the thing.
I hope you guys are digging the shirt. Tacos, tequila, and lucha.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. That's Friday. Hey, Memorial Weekend, man. Memorial Weekend, barbecues, and good old-fashioned wrestling on the network. So I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, we got Double or Nothing coming up tomorrow, so that should be pretty fun. So yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But I gotta agree with Jose. It all depends on how it's gonna go. If it's the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt or regular Bray Wyatt against Mr. Hennig, I gotta give it to Kurt Hennig. Yeah. But of course, the Fiend pretty much don't take it. So I'm glad. Before we continue, Jay, please share our live video all over Facebook. Bring in wrestling fans. Bring them all over. We talk wrestling. We got our special guest, Jose G of Ricans of Wrestling, one of the top talk shows in Central Florida. Every Thursday night at 7 o'clock, they touch AEW, WWE, the Week in Wrestling, whatever you name it. Got to tune into these guys. So,
yeah, man.
Before we pick the next two names out of the hat, we're going to give you, Jose, a chance to pick a fantasy warfare match. See, we talk
Ooh.
about it.
So I gotta stick in the rules though, right? I gotta stay with one present and one from the old school.
Well, we make an exception. You just come up with your own fantasy warfare.
Oh man, wow. Damn. So if I gotta pick anyone right now, like to put on like a hell of a match, um, I mean it's everybody's fantasy to see Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles, right?
Oh man, you hit it right there. Ooh,
I mean
that's a
that's like everyone's dream right there because it's like you literally have two men that evolved the sport in their respective generations. You know, so you got the showstopper, Mr. Monday Night, Mr. WrestleMania, in Shawn Michaels, and then you have probably the best performer in the last decade in AJ Styles, who, by the way, had a fantastic Boneyard match with the Undertaker, made the Undertaker look like $1 million.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that for me personally, man, yeah, AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels has to be my pick.
No, that's an awesome pick, man. Shawn Michaels, two-time Hall of Famer. AJ Styles, definitely Hall of Fame caliber. The man has been all over Japan, all over professional wrestling, TNA, WCW, now WWE. In your opinion, who do you think would have won this match if both of them were in their prime? If say AJ Styles would have been in his prime right now, fighting a Shawn Michaels, say
Mm.
a WrestleMania type Bret Hart match.
Mm. All right. So, in a perfect alternate reality, all right. So, for you Rick and Morty fans, that believe in multiverses and shit like that. In a perfect reality, in a perfect world, this match would have to be for the main title for the WWE title has to be the main event. At the height of both of their careers, man, I would probably put AJ Styles over on that match.
Wow,
I think
that's interesting.
And the reason I put AJ Styles over is because AJ Styles is more innovative than Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was doing crazy shit in the '90s. Doing moonsaults from the top rope when nobody was really doing that. But then AJ Styles took that and evolved it even more. So and just for that, I think I gotta go with AJ Styles.
Well, I respect that, man. That's a hell of a pick. I can definitely agree with that. Like you said, he made the Undertaker look like $1 million in that match. A lot of people thought that Undertaker was finished. You know what I mean? And that match signified that yeah, he might still got it, but he's still waiting for that dream match to just finish his career.
right.
But I don't know. I think I gotta give it to Shawn Michaels, man. They don't call him Mr. WrestleMania for nothing.
You have a good point about
It's
that.
it's
They don't call him Mr. Main Event for nothing, but like just like Jose said, AJ Styles made his own type of high flying. He would jump over a rope and elbow you. He would do this type of amazing flip that no one has ever seen. Shawn Michaels, he would do, the back flips, the elbow drops from the top rope and stuff like that. But, like, if you put those moves now, if you put the moves that Shawn Michaels used to use and put those now, they're kind of worn out. So, I kind of see where he's coming from since, it's a new breed of wrestling and, AJ Styles is like, one of the hottest wrestlers right now.
Mhm.
So,
No,
AJ Styles.
no. Speaking of that, going to the comments, Christopher Brown says AJ Styles just advanced in the SmackDown tournament. This was directed towards you, Jose. That he
No
advanced.
spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers, Christopher Brown. No spoilers. I'm waiting until tomorrow morning, so no spoilers. I'm making my sacrifice for my Friday night routine to be on the Evolution of Pro Wrestling show, so no spoilers.
And we got Jessica Hoffman saying hello. How you doing, man? Thank you for watching. But yeah, that was a hell of a fantasy warfare
Yes,
pick.
it is.
You got us with sharp with that one. So Jaden, let's pick the next one. Here we go. Pick the next fantasy warfare pick. See how this is gonna go. Come on, boy.
I'm trying to go fast. Mine's a CM Punk.
This is a no brainer. I already know this.
Andre the Giant. CM Punk against Andre the Giant.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, do we really have to like break this down? I mean,
Oh man, that's a no-brainer. Andre the Giant. Like, come on,
See, I feel like this match would end up in like a funny type category because I feel like CM Punk would try to run from Andre the Giant because he tried to do that from Big Show once. So I feel like if they were actually to step into the ring, Andre the Giant, he would probably
crush him.
Yeah, he would wipe the floor with him. Andre the Giant is a 7 foot tall man, and CM Punk is probably a baby compared to him. So yeah, Andre the Giant would wreck him. He would beat him.
What do you think, Jose?
yeah. So Andre the Giant, keep this in mind. Andre the Giant is bigger than the Big Show, or was bigger than the Big Show. Just keep that in mind. I mean, that's how massive this human being is. And CM Punk is what, like 6'2"? He probably weighs like 225, 235 around there. So I mean, oh man, I just feel like this is almost cartoonish. It's almost like the new video game that's coming out, the WWE Battlegrounds video game, where John Cena power bombs The Rock into an alligator. Well, Andre the Giant is literally picking up CM Punk and throwing him out into the bay. So yeah, Andre the Giant hands down.
All the way, Andre the Giant, all the way. Well, we just got a picked dream match by Christopher Brown, saying Shawn Michaels against Seth Rollins.
That was one of my matches in the last topic.
Yeah, no, that's pretty unique.
That would be,
a lot of people sometimes compare Seth Rollins to Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So I wish I could have seen that match.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of matches. Yeah, there's
yeah.
a lot of matches that people want to pair up with Shawn Michaels. Oh, quick shout out to Shalene Delgado, one of my homegirls. She's a huge old school wrestling fan from Puerto Rico. So quick shout out to Shalene.
We appreciate it.
Gracias por sintonizar, mama. But back to the topic. Yeah, man, I think it's weird. It's just I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. No. But but back to the topic. I feel like it's something that every wrestler wants to do. Every wrestler wanted to wrestle Shawn Michaels, the top guys. There was one point where Dolph Ziggler was the next Shawn Michaels. Seth Rollins, he's up there with Shawn Michaels. So there's been so many comparisons. John Morrison, he's been a Shawn Michaels. So, there's so many people that have been compared to Shawn Michaels that we put it in our head as fans. We're like, oh damn, I want to see this match versus Shawn Michaels, this match versus Shawn Michaels. But I think, again, and I'm gonna keep it backed up, even though Seth Rollins is a fantastic matchup for Shawn Michaels, it ain't nothing compared to AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that match, people will still talk about to this day if that match would ever happen. That's like an old school version of Ricky Steamboat against Macho Man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like these two superior athletes, you can't even think about how it would even go because it's like you get so excited about it as a fan. Then Brian says CM Punk versus AJ Styles. What do you think about that?
Now that's another classic one that I would love to see. And I think they've actually wrestled like a long, long time ago. I think back in Ring of Honor. But to have them both at their prime and wrestle, that would have been a way fun match. And that would have been a hell of a build up to see, just because they're both great on the mic. AJ, like CM Punk, they're not afraid to drop pipe bombs when necessary in order to attract the viewer. And not to mention that they're both just generals in the ring, So this is definitely a hard match for me to pick. From a nostalgia point, like I love seeing the GTS by CM Punk, so a little part of me wants to see CM Punk get over AJ Styles. But AJ Styles is just something else. But in a perfect world, man, I'd actually have CM Punk go over AJ Styles on that one.
Wow, no, I gotta agree. I gotta agree with that. CM Punk has always been a good in-ring general. The man held the title for over 420 days. The man took on the best. He took on John Cena, The Rock, Ryback, many guys, and he held it down.
He did.
At even a point when he was World Heavyweight Champion, he beat the Undertaker. You know, and not many people thought it could happen. So
I'm pretty sure.
And he hung with the Undertaker. He did a hell of a job with the Undertaker.
yeah,
He did,
no, he
yes.
sure did. It was a hell of a match. And what I think what I liked most about CM Punk was not only his pipe bombs, just straight up excellent mic skills, but his elbow from the top rope, as the Macho Man Randy Savage always did. So that's what caught my attention.
Yeah.
But Christopher Brown is just coming up with these fantasy warfare matches, man. What do you think about Kenny Omega and Edge?
Oh man, Kenny Omega versus Edge. I mean, you have one guy who is pretty much all Japanese strong style. Then you got one guy that's never left WWE and is that WWE. Two very very different styles. It's actually very hard for me to actually picture this match to actually happening. Um, from an athletic standpoint, it's hard to take the edge off. No pun intended. Even though I'm all about the puns. Um, dude, Edge is in a better shape now than he was 10 years ago. So
I thought it was the only one that saw that.
Yeah, so it's very hard for me to be like, okay, then Kenny Omega goes over Edge. I don't know. I don't know how to pick that. If I was booking that match, I would probably put some shenanigans because I don't want any of those two wrestlers to look weak. So I'd probably like involve like the Elite and then involve someone else from his side just to kind of like not make them look. Not to someone get a pure loss, but like make them look strong at the same time during the match. Put a hell of a match on, but not, put some shenanigans in there. I don't know. Get the people upset a little bit to bring them back.
Yep, pretty much, man. It's tough to call, man. Two totally different styles.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And speaking of that, just to be off topic for a second, what do you think about Edge and Orton having an actual wrestling classic match? Do you think Edge is possible of doing that? Randy Orton maybe. I don't know about Edge. It's kind of hard to call.
Yeah, we talked about that last night on our show. We talked about, because now, WWE is promoting it as the greatest wrestling match ever. Mm-hmm. Which we think it might be a little far-fetched, so you're just going to discard all the great Undertaker and Shawn Michaels matches and Triple H. So you're going to discard all those matches and just call this the greatest wrestling match
That's what
ever.
I'm saying. He's had it. He's had wrestling matches. He kept up with the Undertaker, but now, what next?
We can't get quick. We can't go quick to assume that this is gonna be the greatest match of all time. So
exactly.
Like you said, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, all those people put on great shows. So we don't know what to expect from Edge and Orton. It could land in one of the greatest matches of all time, but we can't immediately assume that this is going to be the greatest match of all time.
It's ridiculous. The marketing tactics by WWE is ridiculous. I think it was Kenny last night who was saying that the marks are going to go crazy. Oh, this is going to be an 8, 9, 10-star match. And so... so all the marks are going to be like, oh, this is a 20-star match. It's going to be an hour and a half long. It's like ridiculous. I get that they're trying to promote the hell out of the match. We know this is going to be a good match, and I have no doubt that Edge can go. I mean, the guy went for almost 45 minutes in a last man standing match. A few months ago back in WrestleMania. So I have no doubt that he can go. In a pure wrestling match, I think it's actually going to be even better because you're going to have actual storytelling instead of just beating the living crap out of each other. You're actually going to have a storytelling inside the ring, which in a lot of cases to me is way better than some of these gimmick matches.
Yeah, no, I have to agree.
Yes, I agree. So, they were both, and rated RKO, so, they go back. So,
they know each other well.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's going to be a tough match. Exactly.
But, Jaden,
let's pick out of that bag, man.
Let's keep it going. Come on, the fans are wild.
All right, my person is Randy Orton.
Against Bret Hart.
Oh. Okay.
Wow, that's a little odd combination.
It's an odd combination, but
I don't know.
We should.
Let's see what Jose thinks about this.
Yeah, Lewis, let's jump on PS4 real quick and let's play a quick 2K20, man. Let's get that smoke real quick. Because this is definitely
man. I don't think you can hang with me, bro.
Oh shit! Let's do it. Hey.
I've been playing games since SmackDown 2, since PlayStation Classic.
All I got is 3 words for you, bro. Just bring it.
Okay, no, he has our PlayStation ID. So we got the 2K20. I'll be challenging you. I got you.
Let me tell you how awesome this match would be. I mean, you have the excellence of execution, and then you have the apex predator who was literally born in this business, born and bred in this business.
Third generation superstar.
Yeah, man. I can't think of anyone else that, or any other 2 people that can put just more than a pure exhibition wrestling match than these 2 guys. I mean, but if you're putting a gun to my head and you need me to pick and book this match, I have to go with Randy Orton with an RKO out of nowhere, man.
I agree.
Just because I don't think Randy Orton's gonna allow himself to get into that sharpshooter, and he's gonna do anything possible to get that RKO in.
And I feel like if Randy Orton was to let himself get into the sharpshooter, Randy Orton would most likely find a way out, since Randy Orton is a quick guy and he's a sneaky guy in the ring.
Well, they don't call him the Viper.
Exactly, and the Viper's ready to strike, and Randy Orton can be bleeding out of his head, and every turn, RKO comes out of nowhere.
As much as I like Bret Hart, best there is, best there was, the best there will be, I gotta agree with both of you to a certain extent, because Randy Orton is a 3rd generation superstar. Bret Hart comes from an excellent wrestling family, the Hart family. So, but as you say, Randy Orton has taken on the best. He's taken on Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels.
Speaking of the best, he was the
RKO's, Jake the Snake Roberts in the ring. Tori Wilson, the RKO her. So
these RKOs, so many.
Pretty much, the moment he gets that RKO, it's done.
It's over.
So there's nothing that Bret Hart would be able to do.
You will have to be an extreme fighter to kick out of the RKO, because you don't see a lot of people kick out of the RKO.
We actually got a comment from Brian stating, "I'll give it to Bret. They were both breeding into this business, but with Bret's hardcore training in the dungeon, I'm sure Bret will survive a few of those RKOs. That's if Bret doesn't counter them. I'm sorry." So, what do you think about that? Brian mentioned that comment as well for Bret Hart, that he comes from a dungeon family. He's hardcore training.
Yeah, the dungeon family is no joke. They're serious, and we spoke about that a little bit yesterday too. Actually, funny, talking about Natalia, because she's part of that family. I don't know, man. Though it's just it's again 2 different generations.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that same conversation with Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles. Then you have the same thing, 2 different generations, where you have the old school Bret Hart with that old school technician style in the ring, and then you got Randy Orton, who's still kind of old school, but he's the younger generation. He knows he has way better storytelling than Bret Hart. But to each his own opinion. That's the great thing about these fantasy warfare, that you guys can book it in your head. But in my book, I think Randy Orton is the better wrestler in this scenario. But quick shout out, dude, because you have a WWE alumni watching your show right now. You have Alex the Pug Porteau from Pro Wrestling 2.0 watching your show right now.
Oh yeah, he's an excellent guy, man. I've been a few times.
Yes.
We're actually, as you talk about him, we're thinking of trying to go to his school and do a episode on his training in Pro Wrestling 2.0. He trains a lot of great wrestlers in Central Florida and Orlando that we've seen, in Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling, USA Pro Wrestling, all these places. So I'm glad he's watching, and we're going to set that up soon. So Christopher Brown says the best part of that Orton Bret Hart match The feud would be the heels promo because this isn't a face versus heel match. This is a heel versus heel match.
Right.
So he's kind of have a point. But I'm gonna stick to your choice of
Yeah.
Randy Orton in this one. So as much as I like Bret, we're gonna go with that one. So all right, Jared, let's get to the next one. Let's go. Is he? I'm getting anxious over here.
Come on, man. You're fast now.
All right, I'm sorry.
All
I'm
right.
dropping papers here.
My person is AJ Styles.
Ooh, The Rock.
Oh.
Ooh.
AJ Styles.
Ah. You killed me. You killed me.
Oh
wow.
man.
Two are probably
That's
my.
a fantasy right there.
Oh my
Wow.
Whew. I'm gonna let you go to this one first, Jada.
I mean, we got the most electrifying man going against the phenomenal one. I can't really decide because like The Rock is like, The Rock is also took on many greats, but AJ Styles is like one of the hottest wrestlers right now. He's probably placed in like top 10 of the greatest wrestlers in this generation at the moment. AJ Styles, works his butt off so hard to get where he's at. But The Rock came from going from nothing all the way to something and millions of fans. So I really don't know.
You gonna say
okay.
What do you think, Jose?
You want to know what I think?
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you think, because the fact of the matter is that the great one, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today, will take it to the phenomenal one. 1, 2, 3. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
And I have to totally agree with Jose G. The Rock, all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. I like AJ Styles,
I like AJ Styles.
you can't with The Rock.
I mean, if I had to absolutely choose, yes, I would choose The Rock. But like, if it was just like something that I didn't really have to choose, I would stay neutral. But The Rock is they call him the People's Champ, for the reason.
But that People's Elbow is just
People's Elbow
still famous to this day. That wrestlers to this day try to use it, but they can't.
And if you get hit with the rock bottom, you're done. And if you get hit with a spine buster, you're done. Once you get the spine buster, the People's Elbow, and the rock bottom, it goes in a pattern. He does all
You're
three.
done.
Yep, he does all three, so you're done. Once you get all those 3 moves done to you, that's it.
No, absolutely not. Now, I would have to say, when it comes to The Rock and AJ, I wonder if it would have been something like The Rock against Shawn Michaels. Could you ever compare that to an AJ Styles and The Rock?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Just because for that same reason I gave you a few, a little bit earlier. Because even though Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles, they're both pioneers of their own generations, it's just so different styles, man. When you're looking at both of them. So, even though it would have been interesting to see what Shawn Michaels could have done with The Rock, but man, AJ Styles versus The Rock, bro, that's a SummerSlam WrestleMania main event any day.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's what I like about Jose. He's up front. He's a little controversial, but Jinder Mahal's his favorite heel, did it. So
he's not a heel anymore. I don't like him anymore because he's a baby face now. So I'm like, why? What are they doing with you, man?
I know that's wrong.
So Jinder and I are on hiatus right now.
Okay, we'll keep it at that. For now.
Yeah.
So let's pick another one. Janet, go ahead.
All right, let's do it. Okay, my name is Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Oh my God, this is no contest.
Dog.
Ric Flair.
I think
Roman Reigns against Ric Flair.
I think we all know who the winner is. I think we all know.
Well, wait a minute. What if it's Ric Flair from the 80s going into the 90s?
But what if it's Ric Flair at his prime?
That's what I'm saying. But
I feel like Ric Flair at his prime, there's no competition.
Well, it's kind of two different styles. Roman Reigns is this hard strength guy,
he's a powerhouse.
Ric Flair is the chopping,
he's like a
stealing, villain dealing son of a gun that just.
He's like one of those old type.
I don't know. Let's get the opinion of our guest Jose G on this one.
Ric Flair and Roman Reigns. What an interesting matchup, man. It's weird because Ric Flair was never like the best wrestler ever, but he was great on the mic, and
He
he
was.
knew how to or he knew how to entertain you, and he knew how to keep you drawn in. Doesn't matter what what he was doing backstage, or if he was doing it in the ring with overselling a certain move. So he was very good at that. Now Roman, on the other hand, Roman is he's just a powerhouse, man. He's just like Jaden said, or Jay, sorry. He's just a powerhouse, and this guy, he actually is a. There's a lot of people that criticize him, but he's actually one of the best performers
He is.
in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame that a lot of people give him grief, but he is one of the best performers. And actually, and I might, and again, I'm gonna get controversial here. I personally think he's a better performer than his cousin, The Rock.
Wow.
You know what?
That's deep. That's
See,
actually deep.
I feel like there's
Um,
two sides to that. I feel like before you go that, I feel like there's two sides to that. Now we all know that The Rock has his fair shares of all these good matches. With the likes of like Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. I'm pretty sure all those people. So he's had experience of how powerhouses think and how powerhouses move. But you see, Roman Reigns is a powerhouse just like The Rock. But if you think about it, The Rock isn't as fast as Roman Reigns in the ring. And the Roman Reigns is a bit of a high flyer because, he can do all these jumps and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
if you put those two together, Roman Reigns will probably take it since the fact that Roman Reigns is fast and he's strong. And put those together, that's an absolutely unstoppable person right there.
I
oh,
completely agree with you. I completely agree with you, and that's why I'm saying that because Roman is a lot more athletic than The Rock will
Right.
ever be. That just like you said, he jumps up from the top rope. He does what the Undertaker was doing, where he jumps from the ring over the top into the crowd. So he's mad agile. He's mad athletic. He could be a little bit better on the mic. He's gotten better. That's the one thing that The Rock has, the mic. I mean, nobody can take
Oh,
away
yeah, nobody.
from The Rock the mic. But when we're talking of in-ring performance, The Rock was good, but Roman Reigns is better.
Yes.
oh
And
man.
Roman Reigns goes over if that matchup. So Roman, in my opinion, Roman Reigns goes over on Ric Flair.
I
Wow.
agree.
No,
I
no,
agree.
definitely. That's definitely controversial, with the Rock and Roman. I kind of have to agree with that into a sense because I remember the matches Roman had with Braun Strowman. They had a long feud, and surprisingly,
It was a good feud. They
it
went
was
from going
Roman
into
pretty much
ambulance
carried
to
that
breaking
match,
down.
to each one. Like it was
Yes.
just amazing. And the matches against Triple H and everybody else. So yeah, I gotta agree. The Rock is great in the mic, but in-ring skills, I would have to say Roman. I would have to say Roman. So
I agree.
you're absolutely right, Jose. We agree with you, man.
Yes.
All right, next one, then. Let's go. Here we go.
All right. My person is. Oh my God.
Who is it?
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Again,
Ooh, the
Shawn
Beast.
Michaels.
Oh, that's a.
Wow,
See,
wow.
this is what I feel on this match. I feel like if Brock Lesnar wasn't all this suplex city, he would lose. Like he would get his booty kicked so bad, like Shawn Michaels would make him look bad.
No, but see, but that's the thing though. That Brock Lesnar back then was an actual good
He
superstar.
was, but I still feel like
He
Shawn
was able to
Michaels.
hold his own. Shawn, you can't compare to
I
Shawn
still feel
Michaels.
exactly.
I'm sorry.
But I feel like
How? Yeah.
now if Shawn Michaels was to face him, Brock Lesnar would win only because he
No,
would
because
constantly
of
suplex him,
suplex
always
cities.
suplex him,
But
and then he would deliver an F5 and
listen,
then the match would be
I don't know because Shawn Michaels is taking on Undertaker. He's taking on Diesel. He's taking on Cycles. Maybe he's taking on the mixture. I gotta give this one to Shawn Michaels. I don't care because, quite frankly, I don't care so much for Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry.
Me neither.
But wait a minute, Jose. Jose about to come in. Let's see what you got, Jose.
Bro, Brock Lesnar's the GOAT, bro. Brock Lesnar's the greatest of all time. Brock Lesnar has been with this company since 2002 and has held pretty much every single main title. This guy is special. UFC champion, NCAA heavyweight champion, All American. WWE champion, undisputed champion, universe. Do I need to keep listing off what the accomplishment of Brock Lesnar is? Imagine Brock Lesnar, current at the peak, Brock Lesnar right now against at the peak Shawn Michaels. This is a match like AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. This match will be dope AF. And for that single fact, Brock Lesnar will demolish Shawn Michaels any day of the week.
Wait.
Any day of the week.
Okay, I understand everything you just mentioned, and I give him that. I give him that to Brock Lesnar. Come on, you got Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania, the showstopper, the main eventer, former European champion, former WWE champion, former World Heavyweight champion, former Intercontinental champion. Wait a minute. Former tag team champion has fought against Stone Cold, Bret Hart in a 1 hour Iron Man match. Brock Lesnar did an Iron Man match, but it was nothing compared to Bret Hart and Shawn.
You gotta think of it this way.
Okay.
Back then, Brock Lesnar was probably one of the biggest guys in the WWE, and he moved really fast. Like for being like a super muscular guy, he was like a Roman Reigns back then. He was really strong, and he was able to actually flip, and he was actually really powerful.
Okay.
So if you were to put, like he said, Brock Lesnar against at a peak Shawn Michaels, that would be a good match.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like if the Brock Lesnar was to fight him now, I feel like Brock Lesnar would have been a better wrestler, or could be a better wrestler, if he can hold off of like all the suplexes and all that stuff. Like try something different. It's okay to.
Well, that's not gonna happen. There's new eras.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it's controversial today, man.
I just think that once Brock Lesnar goes beast mode,
yeah, there's no stopping him.
Shawn Michaels, there's no stopping him. So Shawn Michaels is not going to get a chance to lance his offense.
No, absolutely. No, that I gotta agree with. When Brock Lesnar catches you, that's it.
You have to be lucky in order to stop him from going.
He even took on the Big Show.
Yes.
And F5 the Big Show.
He did.
So, yeah, it's tough. So, but yeah, we'll keep it at that. So, next one, Jake.
All right, let's go. I have Daniel Bryan.
Ooh. I have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
So we're getting a lot of feedback. I couldn't hear what you guys said.
Oh, every single one. All right, how about now?
It's funny because it's like a delay. It's like a 5-second delay.
Really? Let me see. How about now?
And now I'm hearing myself. This is so weird.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm hearing myself like 5 seconds later.
So, Daniel Bryan and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
I'm hearing myself. Okay, all right. So. I'm gonna jump up and get back in. All right, hold on.
Okay. He's controversial today, Jay. This is some big stuff. While we're waiting for Jose, Christopher Brown says one thing leaving out is Brock Lesnar's ego on the planet, who puts himself above the company. Which is absolutely right. He does.
He does have a really big
ego. He does have
a big ego.
He definitely having an issue. Oh, okay, we're having an issue with the camera. Wait a minute. Nope, doesn't want to let him through. Sorry, Jose. Something's going on again. I'm sorry. All right, we continue.
We'll probably get him back on. He'll come back on.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, anyway, like he said, Brock Lesnar's ego is very big, and I feel like that's also another reason why, Brock Lesnar is probably not the people who they thought he was, or they wanted him to be, because, an ego can have a lot to do with your character and, your people skills inside the WWE, and, if you have a bad ego in the WWE, your mic skills would probably be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a bad ego, your character will probably be terrible since you have such a high ego. They'll probably just be like, just do that, just do this, suplex.
So, we mentioned Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes.
And Daniel Bryan.
Yes. Who you got now?
I gotta go with Ricky the Dragon all the way. I like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is an excellent superstar.
I mean, but like you can't hold Daniel Bryan because he came from like an injury
of course 2 years.
It took him 2 years, and then he came back really strong. He came back strong.
Absolutely.
And then he came back with his fierce. I didn't like the way they made him heel and the way they turned that champion into the specific color. I didn't like Daniel Bryan as a heel. I prefer Daniel Bryan as a babyface at the moment, but like I feel like if Daniel Bryan, was like when he fought Sheamus, when there was the feud with him and AJ Lee.
Yeah.
We're back.
All right. So we mentioned Daniel Bryan against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Ooh, man. Wow, that's a good pick. Because Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Ricky versus Macho Man Randy Savage is one of my favorite matches of all time. And Daniel Bryan, I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan, especially American Dragon, and when he was like, Earth Daniel Bryan, the Planet's champion. He's such a good performer. He's such a great wrestler. Oh man, I don't know how to pick this one.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna call it all right down the middle. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat all the way. I'm sorry. I like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is a hell of a technician. He's a hell of a wrestler. Came back from a 2-3-year injury. He's done it all in the ring. But to this day, I always say the best match I've ever seen in a non-main event, non-heavyweight title match is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Randy Macho Man Savage. All the time in wrestling history. Surpassed Andre Hogan. I'm sorry. And I'm a big Hulk Hogan fan. So I got to give this one to Ricky Steamboat.
See, now, it's kind of hard for me because, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is an amazing wrestler, and, he did have those amazing matches with all these wrestlers. But, I feel like Daniel Bryan's character can go either way. Daniel Bryan is the type of person to be like, give me this kid, you give me this character, that's the way I'm going to wrestle. If you give him a heel character, he's going to wrestle with fierce and strong. He's going to wrestle fierce and strong. You give him a babyface character, he's going to wrestle like a babyface. So I feel like Daniel Bryan is one of those versatile guys who can, play any character, a heel, a face, anything you want him to play. So that's what makes Daniel Bryan so unique from others, because he can be either babyface or heel. So, I feel like it's kind of hard for me to answer, but if I had to answer right on the dot, I would give it to Steamboat.
Yeah. What do you think, Jose?
Man, this one I'm really torn for the simple reasons that I just gave you. But I feel like Daniel Bryan has more agility and quickness than the Dragon. And this is probably one of the best matchups that you guys put together so far in this warfare, because I'm trying to visualize this in my head how this would go down, and I kind of see this going down by submission with Daniel Bryan getting the win on this, man. Just because of his ability to bring down most of his opponents to the ground, and once he brings you to the ground, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah. Once he locks that lapel lock, I think it's over. So yeah, that's a good point. So it's hard. It's hard to call. I'm old school, but I like Daniel Bryan. I like his technician.
Yeah.
So okay, Jaden, who's your next one?
All right, my next one is Drew McIntyre.
Ooh, Universal Champion Drew McIntyre against WWE Champion. Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
WWE Champion. Get it right.
Thank you. I'm
Get
sorry.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, Drew McIntyre against The Undertaker.
Oh, wow. See, now, okay, this match can go 2 ways. This can go...
I think we should just close the show with this match, man, because
this match can
this
go...
is like the main event.
Surprisingly, this is the last pick of the show.
Oh, okay.
This can go, I feel like this match can go 2 ways. This can go with The Undertaker giving Drew McIntyre a tombstone or this can end up with Drew McIntyre beating him, and Undertaker making one of those surprising things when Undertaker loses. He either pays him his respects, or Undertaker does one of those things and pulls him under the ring. Or
No, but I was
like
going to ask Jose that. Who will we be getting from the Undertaker? Would it be the American Badass? Would it be the Ministry Undertaker?
Who would you guys prefer?
The Dead Man Undertaker, or the Phenom, the Undertaker?
I prefer the Dead Man.
How would you put this match together, Jose? If you have the choice right now to book up, I got Drew McIntyre, Undertaker, give me a match right now.
All right, so if we're building this up, this is going to be WrestleMania 39. Okay, this will be WrestleMania 39, and the Undertaker can't wrestle as he wants to. So this is going to be a cinematic style match between Drew McIntyre and the American Badass Undertaker.
Man.
Okay, so this is going to be a boneyard style match, but not necessarily call it a boneyard match, but a boneyard style cinematic match where Undertaker's gonna look phenomenal in this match, but Drew McIntyre is gonna get the win.
No.
See,
sorry, no.
You have to. There has to be a point where you have to send the Undertaker into the sunset, and who else better to send the Undertaker into the sunset than Drew McIntyre?
Now that you put it that way, I would say okay, because that's the same thing they did with the build-up with Drew McIntyre for the Royal Rumble. When Brock Lesnar was kicking the shit out of everybody, and then here comes Drew McIntyre and just takes him out. So, but you see, Brian says no, because he's a huge Undertaker fan. So
no, and I am too. But I'm booking this. Okay, I'm putting this in my head. If I'm producing this, and I want to create some great entertainment, but at the same time create a little bit of controversy. Like, well, damn, there's millions of people that watch the product, and there's millions of people that want a match to come out a certain way, and they don't get it, and that's what I'm providing. And that's how I would book it.
Exactly.
Because it's gonna create that intrigue and that controversy.
Oh, absolutely. That's what it is. That's what wrestling is about. Controversy. We got that going. So before we leave today, Jaden, we're gonna give everybody a chance to pick that one fantasy warfare match. And I'm actually going to start with our guest, Jose. If you had a chance to pick right now any two men that you always wanted to see fight against each other, who would it be?
All right. This is going to be the weirdest pick that y'all ever heard in your life, but I've been advocating for this match for 3 years now, and we need to get it. Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. It has to happen.
Wow. No. I'm sorry.
That's an interesting match.
I'm going to tell you why. Kevin Owens was unjustifiedly stripped off of that Universal title by Goldberg in that squash match in Backlash in 2017, okay? There was no reason for him to drop that damn title just for Goldberg.
Right.
Imagine if we would have gotten Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. That match would have been fire. That build-up would have been ridiculous.
Yeah.
The promos between Heyman and Kevin Owens would have been the most memorable promos we would ever have seen.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it didn't go down that way. And again, I hope we can get to see alternate realities one day, because I would love to see the alternate reality that match actually happened.
No, definitely, man. I look at it now, and it's a match I'll pay to see. Kevin Owens, no matter if he is a little shorter than Brock, I would say he would give Brock a hell of a run.
Kevin Owens is so strong guy.
For a heavy-set guy, he can move fast in the ring. The man can move. The man beat John Cena in his debut match in the main roster. So, that's a very good match, man. I gotta agree. That's a very good match. We got Brian that says, I'll say it again, my fantasy match is Owen Hart versus Finn Balor versus Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match. That's his pick. What's your pick, Jaden?
Mine's is Eddie Guerrero versus Cesaro.
Wow.
Ooh, very nice.
And what will be the take on that?
Take on that would probably be, that's a good question. I feel like I want to see them go in a.
Ooh, is Vicky Guerrero part of this? Because we can add Vicky Guerrero really quick up in this.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So Vicky Guerrero is up in this, right? So
Yeah.
so Vicky is trying to seduce Seth Rollins,
Oh, wow.
but Becky ain't having it, and then we have a mixed tag match between Vicky and Eddie going up against Seth and Becky.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
Wow.
That's a real good one.
That's an amazing match right there.
Oh, hey, that's what fantasy warfare is about. My pick, I would have to say 80s Hogan against John Cena in his Doctor of Thugonomics era. Hulkamania against the Doctor of Thugonomics at WrestleMania for the WWE title.
Dang.
And I would have to give my pick to Hulk Hogan.
I gotta give mine to John Cena. John Cena, when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics, you know, he had this I don't care attitude. And John Cena was fearless. He was strong. John Cena was a powerhouse, but he was like, I feel like Roman Reigns is like another John Cena, except Roman Reigns is a little better than John Cena now. Because John Cena, you know, he wasn't really like a high flyer type guy, but he was really fast in the ring.
He's strong as hell. We know that.
Oh yeah,
He did at WrestleMania.
he picked up Edge in the Big Show. Yes,
So,
but yeah, he can maneuver really fast, and you know, he's strong, like you said. So Hulk Hogan, you know, he's strong too. Hulk Hogan was a strong guy, but I feel like John Cena had the advantage of speed over Hulk Hogan, and that's why I feel like John Cena would take that match.
okay. Nicely explained. What about you, Jose? What you think of that fantasy match?
Hell yeah, man. John Cena, C Nation all day, every day, man. He delivered that FU on Hulk Hogan all day, every day. I love Hulk Hogan. I mean, I wouldn't have never watched wrestling if it weren't for Hulk Hogan because I grew up. But I mean, you know, John Cena, you know, all these big, huge superstars of these decades, you know, they're like the evolved version of their predecessors, you know. So like Hulk Hogan, John Cena's just an evolved version of Hulk Hogan, you know.
Yeah.
So so John Cena gets the win on this with his 5 moves of doom.
No, I appreciate that, man. Well, Jaden, our time is up today. Jose, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. As always, guys, whoever's watching, tune in every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Rican of Wrestling. Jose G, you have Rico Curioso. Am I saying that right?
El Glorioso,
Yes,
like the glorious.
I can't say that. So Rico and Jose G, that they are hosts of the show. It's a great show. Tune in every Thursday night. We appreciate you being on a guest on our show, man, for this topic.
Thanks, man. No problem, bro.
And,
thanks for having me.
I'll definitely be waiting to be on the show next week if you need me. And we're ready for it, man.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, man, we're ready to have you. We're ready to have you back on the team.
Definitely.
Are you done with your move?
I'm sorry?
You're done with your move?
Almost done with the moves.
Almost.
We're getting it.
Ah, man. Well, hopefully you finish up and have a good time this weekend, bro.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. So, but we appreciate you, man. Enjoy your Memorial weekend. And watch some old school wrestling, man.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Oh man, that was a interesting topic.
We had a lot of.
Thank you, Jessica Hoffman. We appreciate it. Before we leave, we have a few other fantasy warfare picks. Christopher Brown says Punk versus Randy Savage, and Jessica Hoffman says Punk versus Seth Rollins. So
you got the mic going against.
Oh man, it was amazing.
And those are double heels right there too.
No, it was amazing. So guys, our time is up. We appreciate you guys watching from all of us here in Evolution of Pro Wrestling. As always, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. We have great content there of many great topics we've discussed. Even our latest wrestling match me and my son had there before. If you have any questions, concerns, or topics you would like us to air, tune in, email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. As always, join us every Monday night for our interactive discussion watch party wrestling match. We're going to come up with one tomorrow, of which we're deciding which match we will play on Monday. Also, June 5th will be our next trivia show, Jaden. We had a blast the last time.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do it again. From all of us here at Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Also, before we leave, I can't leave without the topic. Next week's topic, the history of War Games. War Games was the match beyond in WCW. What would have happened if War Games would have came to WWE? Actual WWE,
Find out
the main roster.
next Friday.
Find out next Friday. That's the only way you're going to find out. From myself, Lewis, from my co-host, Jaden, and from my producer and director, my lovely wife, Yesenia, from always helping us out here with this. Thank you, fans, for watching. We'll see you next Friday.